Hey, there's going to be 3 videos in this series about the 2007 GT500 seat restoration, and it's really restoration of the color of the seats. This one's going to be about the rear seats. That's where I started. There's also one that kind of gives an introduction about the colors and stuff like that, and then there's going to be one about the front seats. Well, let's go. Here's the rear seats. Well, the leather dye came in today from the Seat Doctors. Charcoal or dark charcoal for the black portion of the seats in the interior. And then also crimson red, because I've got seats that are, the dual color here. I'm getting got the masking tape here. Doing the back seat first. It's actually in really good shape anyways, but of course I want it to match whatever's in the front seat. So I've got this first one masked off pretty darn good. And we're gonna we're gonna do the red first. If I get any red on the black, we can put black over the red. It should be able to cover that. So I think that's the way to do it first. But let's see how it turns out. Again, from the Seat Doctors. Giving them a little plug there. Andy over there is pretty good. Talked to me a couple times on the phone and email, and we got the right color matching. There we go. Okay, so the first coating is on. Ended up using a sponge here. Again, we've got the Seat Doctor Crimson Red here. And it went on pretty good. I masked this up the best I could. And not best light here, but look at that. I think that's looking pretty good and consistent. I'm going to put a couple layers on here. So that's just the first layer. Now the back seats were actually in pretty good shape anyways. I want to try these first, because I ordered some filler for actual cracks in the seats of the front seat that have a little more damage. Nothing horrible, but still. So, can you see a difference here to here? Again, you can see they're actually pretty good back here. So I'm just just touching these things up. But there to here, I think it's just a little darker. Okay, probably popping back the original color into the seat here. So again, we're going to go ahead and put another layer on here, probably just 2 layers in the back, and then we'll do the black after that. Okay. Hey, a couple points on the use of the sponge. When I was putting the coloration onto the sponge, obviously when you first put it on, there's like a larger amount on there, so you just have to be careful and gently put it on there, not just press in right away. But anyways, feather it out. Okay, I did some circular motion to kind of get into a certain area and cover it and make sure it was definitely ingrained into the leather. But then I went over it over and over again to make sure that it was even, okay? But feathering to make sure that it's not just like a large area of paint. So without further ado, on to the next section. Okay, that's after the second application. But now I'm going to use a hair dryer to basically dry it off and let it seal a little better quicker. So let me turn the hair dryer on. So, I don't know if you can see this, but right around here, there seems to be maybe not, the coverage wasn't perfectly even when I slid it across. Most of it looks pretty darn good. So I'm just going to take the sponge here, Just gonna go over that area again, not putting new on it, just... Hey, a couple points on the use of the sponge. When I was putting the coloration onto the sponge, obviously when you first put it on, there's like a larger amount on there. So you just got to be careful and gently put it on there, not just press in right away. But anyways, feather it out. Okay, I did some circular motion to kind of get into a certain area and cover it and make sure it was definitely ingrained into the leather. But then I went over it over and over again to make sure that it was even, okay? But feathering to make sure that it's not just like a large area of paint. So without further ado, on to the next section. Fading it in. I did watch quite a few of these on TV, even with the seat doctor. Andy had some tips on videos up here, so I'm just going to go over in that area one more time where I saw the little differences. And then we're going to dry that up. I think everything else looks pretty darn good. All right, let's set that down here. Try this again. I think I'm just going to let that dry normally, and then take a little damp towel, very lightly damp towel, in the next portion of the video and go over it. Okay, so we did red yesterday on there. I haven't done the black yet. And again, these are the back seats. They're actually in pretty good shape. Just finished putting the second coat on the red on the other side here, pulling off the tape, and then I'll tape it up for the black to be done. So looking good, pretty good so far. All right. Okay, so we got the top. I did the bottom parts a number of days ago. Just did the top center red parts today. Masked it off, swiped it on there. I think I've shown you in the video before. I watched a bunch of other videos out there, and I'm using kind of a cut sponge to just kind of go over very, very lightly. Make sure there's not like a lot of extra. I'm going this way too, up and down. And then I kind of use the side a little bit as well, just to get a little extra off of there, so there's not big drops of it on there. So I'm going to let this dry, and we'll come back and see when it's dry. We'll do another second coat. Okay, all the tape is off, and we now have matching seat colors. It's a little darker than the original, but then again, maybe it was because it was fade, and maybe this is what the original is. But either way, looking pretty good. Almost no spillover whatsoever, so there you are. Now onto the door panels, and eventually we'll get to the black. Okay, wrapping up. Obviously, I'm not a professional restorer. I'm enjoying my car. Okay, you should too. If you got tons of money and you want to have somebody else do it, let them do it for you. If you want to have some fun with this car, this is not a Lamborghini or a Pagani or anything like that that's millions of dollars. Let's have some fun. That's what I'm doing, okay? So we did the back seats. We're going to be doing the front seats next. That's the next video. If you want to subscribe, that's great. I'm not looking for millions of followers, but if you do subscribe, you'll probably see me goofing around with some other stuff that's going on. And I do have some other stuff going on coming up. How about that? So anyways, the front seats are next. Like it, at least. Okay? Thanks. Bye.